The next day, Fisher had to hide his camera to film the devastation of his city. Documenting scenes like these was outlawed by the Nazis.
Men, women, and children lie dead under these ruins. The first of them are now being recovered and laid out on the sidewalks.
But Cologne was only the beginning. By now, the United States had joined England in the war against Germany. Days later, the Allies followed the Cologne air raid with another run. This time, they dropped tens of thousands of warning leaflets over German towns.
We are bombing Germany, city by city, and ever more terribly, to make it impossible for you to go on with the war. Let the Nazis drag you down to disaster with them, if you will. That is for you to decide. We are coming, by day and by night.
You're watching Third Reich, The Fall. For more about the Holocaust, go to history.com.
It was June of 1942. If you were one of the 45,000 Germans made homeless by the Allied air raids on Cologne, you would have been processed here, in this refugee center outside the city. You'd be given food, medical treatment, and a shower. You might also receive personal items left behind by Jews who had been your neighbors. The same week that the Nazis were caring for the people in this refugee camp, the world first learned about other German camps in Eastern Europe. There, hundreds of thousands of Jews were being systematically exterminated.
My mother saw the Jews transported from the station. Their baggage was loaded separately into a freight train. But when the train with the people left, the freight car with the baggage stayed there. It didn't go with them.
It was the holiday season, 1942, Joseph Eckstaller filmed his children, Franz and Liesel, decorating the Christmas tree. Christmas came with sacrifice this year. Food rations had been tightened. Butter, meat, sugar, and coffee were replaced with imitation foods. Some made with potato meal or wood pulp. But for German troops in the East, it was much, much worse.
All the horses have been eaten. In the 10th year of our glorious Reich, we are standing before one of the greatest catastrophes in history.
For 6 months, the Germans had been fighting the Red Army for control of the Soviet city of Stalingrad. By December, the Soviets had surrounded the German troops and severed their supply lines. At home, Germans were told that their soldiers would rather die than surrender.
At the moment, heroic battles are taking place near Stalingrad. Our 6th Army is surrounded there. Will they have time to shoot themselves at the last moment?
On Christmas Day alone, 1,280 German soldiers died in Stalingrad. 5 weeks later, Germans heard this broadcast.
Der Kampf um Stalingrad ist zu Ende. Ihrem Fahneneid getreu ist die 6. Armee der Übermacht des Feindes und der Ungunst der Verhältnisse erlegen.
In truth, 91,000 German soldiers had surrendered against Hitler's orders. 86,000 of these men would die, and the rest would not return to Germany until 1955. After Stalingrad, the Germans began to doubt the Nazis' promise of total victory. Only a few suspected their true fate. Total defeat.
You're watching Third Reich, The Fall. For more on the Battle of Stalingrad, go to history.com.
It was the spring of 1943. This propaganda film series was produced to celebrate the Third Reich at the height of its dominance in Europe. But if you were German, your life looked nothing like this. The Berlin Zoo was only one of the city's bombing casualties. In 1943, the Allies increased the tonnage of bombs they dropped on Germany 25 times. The British bombed by night. The Americans in broad daylight.
In mir, ich fühl in dir das gleiche wilde Blut.
Sirens, anti-aircraft guns, long lists of the fallen, gas and murder, mud and ice, human beings burned alive, and charred corpses. And yet, we are told of a golden future and final victory.
But most now realized, no matter what the Nazis promised, they were going to lose the war. And so many began behaving like they had nothing to lose.